Can you talk about your musical beginnings and start?
Okay, musical beginnings were way back in 1982. Quite a few years. Parents kind of agreed to buy me a drum kit. I sucked pretty horribly at it, and still liked being a musician, but I just really wasn't all that good of a drummer at the time. And basically talked them into buying me a guitar. And that was it. I was pretty much hooked. It wasn't like I was some kind of prodigy or something, though. I mean, I struggled for the first few years. And, definitely had a draw towards, hard rock and metal side of things.
Can you describe your music and your style?
My style is kind of like, it's hard to describe. It's definitely kind of like an old school style, kind of like the late 80s shrapnel guys. Mm-hmm. But without the neoclassical dark kind of sound to it. A lot of the stuff I do is more almost like pop driven. So the songs will have big hooks in them, but I'll still do like my share of goofing off in them and stuff. I try to write songs first and then do all the licks afterwards.
You supported some really big name acts. You play a ton of shows. What are some of your favorite memories and shows that you've done so far?
I think the best part about all that is really just kind of getting to know these musicians and stuff like that. I mean, I even have tonight James Rivera from Hellstar, who we're opening for and backlining on Friday, and I also play in that Sabbath Due to Sabbath band with him. He's staying over my house tonight because they're going to be playing locally. Hellstar is going to be playing somewhere else close to here. It was going to be a little bit easier for them to stay here, so he's actually with Michael Papon from Symphony X, and they're both staying at my house tonight, so we're actually just going to sit around and just, shred the paint off the walls,
Very cool.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what, musicians, especially people that have been around, they're all so down to earth and they've been there, done that, and there's no head games. I get more head games from the local guys trying to make a name for themselves.
Right. I mean, that's true. And I mean, at the same time, I've also ran into some national guys that, I just like, wow, I can't believe you guys are famous.
Yeah, a couple like that too, but those are the guys I never talked to. Your favorite guitarists today, and who would you say your influences are?
Favorites today really are like guys like Guthrie Govin's one of my favorites, and I've been following him around, following his career for the past few years. Some of my all-time favorites are Sean Lane, Eric Johnson, Steve Vai, Tony McAlpine, and Michael Romeo. And it's kind of like, again, Michael Romeo from Symphony X being a really good, a really big influence.
Are you saying that because he's sitting there?
What's that?
Are you saying that because he's sitting there?
No, he's not here yet. His bass player will be here soon. But he's not. Basically, there was a little story I've told a few times about a time back in the '90s when grunge was really big, and I just kind of quit playing guitar for a couple of years because I just hated what music was,
Yeah, it really wasn't music for a while there.
What's that?
I said it really wasn't music there for a while, not to me.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan at all, man. I tried to be as open-minded as I could, and I mean, it was almost like, I noticed so many metal people were open-minded about grunge, but so many grunge people were so closed-minded about metal. It was just like, wow, something's not right here. And so I just didn't pay attention to that. I kind of buried my head in the sand, did some other stuff for a couple of years, and then I heard this Working Man tribute album. It was a tribute to Rush, and it came out in the mid-90s, and I heard all these, there was guys like Dream Theater and all these other bands were playing on there, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I got to this all-star jam of shred-horrific guys, and Michael Romeo was the guitar player on a track called Analog Kid, which is from the Signals album from Rush, and they just annihilate the song. It's amazing. It's Mike Portnoy on drums and Michael Romeo and Billy Sheehan on bass and stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And so they do all these really, really cool, like syncopated runs, and Michael Romeo just had this really cool style that was just so over the top for the time. And he was a guy that, of course, really wasn't all that, was pretty much unknown in the '80s. So he was a really big influence on me, like through the rest of the '90s and like in early 2000s. So I really liked his style. I liked the stuff that he did.
Yeah, I remember that Rush album. Rush is like one of my all-time initial favorite rock bands ever. Alex Lifeson taught me guitar by default.
Right. I mean, yeah, he's unbelievable. I mean, he's very textured. He's not like a shredder at all, but he's like a textured player, and like that goes further than the shred stuff does.
Absolutely. Now, if you could jam with anyone and have a guitar battle with, who would it be and why?
A guitar battle?
Yeah.
Well, I'd want to have a guitar battle with somebody I could beat. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see who I could jam with. I think it'd be awesome to jam with Steve Vai. And considering that in fact I feel like that Guthrie Govan is the best player in the world, I've actually jammed with him, so that's kind of cool because I see him usually saw him at the NAMM show every year for the past like 5 or 6 years, and he wasn't he was getting well known, but he wasn't like a superstar, kind of like he's approaching that status now. So it was kind of cool. I got to jam with him and stuff. But I think it'd be really cool to jam with Steve Vai.
I see you're going to be at Rock Harvest 2 this year. I do some work with Benedictum on some things, and I'm pretty close to Edge of Paradise. I mean, that's quite a weekend coming up.
Yeah, we're also doing Skullfest too over in Nebraska.
Cool.
Over. So yeah, there's some really cool stuff coming up. Things are happening, and I think that I probably wouldn't have gotten as far as I'm getting right now if I didn't kind of make that switch to vocals, like that, doing, more of a vocal band. And, we kind of followed suit with it. We're not like, we don't sound like a heavy metal version of Journey or Bon Jovi, or, we're not like a clone of Queensryche or something like that. But we're kind of like a melodic prog band, like with a lot of good, everybody in the band is like really good at their instrument, and the best part about it is, though, they're creative.
Through the sky, like sentinels on high, moonlight guides the trail we blaze through mystic nights.
What advice would you give to a new guitar player, or ones that are just coming back to it after some time off, like you did it, and like me right now?
Any advice? I'd say don't play. Put it down and go do something else. No. In reality, this is what I would say to a new guitar player. I would say relish the moment that you're in right now, as far as like the information that you have, because guitar players can advance so much further nowadays because of all the tools that they have, at their disposal. Whether it's tools like software, Power Tab, and whether YouTube and the access to literally hundreds of guitar players and their library of licks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's very true.
So that's one of the things. And I think with that, keep an open mind about like different types of music, and for the love of God, just don't be like. I've seen some people, and I'm definitely not going to mention any names, but I've seen way too many videos out there that just say, look at me playing at 220 BPM. This is the fastest guitar lick, blah blah blah. I mean, come on, guys, write it. For the love of God, write a song. Advice to anybody is, if you want to play a guitar just to strum some chords in front of the TV, or with your friends, I mean, that's cool. I mean, nobody says you have to like reach for the stars on that stuff. But if you are trying to like become more of an accomplished musician just in general, just be open-minded about it. But for the most part, take the step into writing an actual song. I mean, write a tune. To me, you have to.
That last line right there hit me hard, because I tell people all the time, listen, if I want to go here, you tell me how you do Godsmack or whatever better than they do, I'll just go hit the jukebox button. So, all right, man, well, thanks for taking the time to do this today. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the readers and the fans?
Yes, please check everything out that I'm doing on XanderDemas.com, and from there you can see the links to the social media, YouTube channel, tour dates that we're doing and all that stuff. So, and I appreciate anybody who takes the time to check this out.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, man, and I'll probably see you down at Harvest Fest in the fall.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot.